and welcome back to another Nextlander podcast. Here we go, middle of August. For some, I bet, school has started. For some, school is about to start. For some, like on the East Coast, where normal people live, it's September, and it always has been. And September is fall when you go back to school. Alex Navarro, are you a school in September person?
Okay, wait a minute. Hang on. As in, do I believe that school should start in September, or
Yes.
did I ever have to suffer the idea of going back to school in August?
Do you think it's weird when people in like the Midwest and stuff are like, we start school in July?
Yes, I think that's insane. You should not do that to a child.
Good. Brad, in the South, in where God touched the earth and made North Carolina.
God left that earth a long time ago, my friend.
I think we were August back to school.
You were,
as I recall, mid to late August. For some of us, school never ended.
That's right. That's
not just a Midwest construction. Like, my niece and nephew are back in school as of late July. I guess maybe because they're part of some sort
Where are they?
They're in California.
What? There's
Yeah.
no crops
What?
to be. Are they in the part of California that does actually grow crops?
No, they're where I grew up.
It's like a
Petaluma's farmland, right?
private school, or like something like non-standard, non-county public education situation.
Far as I know, they go to public school. Maybe it's just one of those things where, like, because they're in early education, they're trying to get them in there earlier or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
July.
I know.
I always heard July was like related to agriculture, right? Like there's either some planting season or reaping season that needs the farm hands, right? The family on the land.
I think at this point we're just burgling time from our children. That's all it is.
I mean, look, if you're saying that all schools now should have air conditioning, maybe like getting kids in school by August is better than being anywhere else in August, or at least on the East Coast here. But yeah, September, fall, it's time to go back to school. The weather's cooling down. Anything else is just, well, it ain't right.
I went back to school a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Oh.
When I was back home.
Yes.
My girlfriend and I just had some time to kill one afternoon. We were driving around.
Okay.
So we stopped by my high school.
Oh, sick.
Did you go in?
No, it was Sunday afternoon, and school's not back in session yet.
Also,
it's still
they probably wouldn't let you in there.
They don't love people wandering around on campuses off hours generally.
I don't know. I've talked to, my mom worked for the county schools there, and like she actually has said you probably could, like she
just walk in.
I mean, you like go in the office and say like
sign in, or
if you went into the office on a day that it was like a teacher work day is what we called them there, when kids were not there, but teachers were.
And they, without students, sure.
And they might let you look around a little bit. But this was a Sunday afternoon in the middle of summer vacation, so there was nobody there.
Did you have any thoughts?
First time I've been back in 28 years.
Wow.
How's it looking?
Even see it.
Fucking weird, man.
How's the field?
Very surreal. The football field?
I don't know what kind of fields you got. Like
whatever fields you had.
Is it redone?
Seemed fine.
Do you think they got that real grass there still? Or did they turf over that thing? Okay.
Probably. There's definitely more buildings. It's like a couple trailers. There's like kind of trailer expansion classrooms out back. And
portables.
Stuff like that. It's just very strange walking around looking at, it's like, there's the spot where I threw up on the way walking to the bus one afternoon.
The memories.
It was very sick and probably should not have been in school.
I can't remember how many years ago it was, but I rarely go by my old high school because I have like zero affection for it, but I do often drive by my old junior high because it's both near where my parents are and I just have like more memories of that place than I do my high school. I can't remember how many years it was ago, but I went by there during off hours once just because I kind of wanted to look around a little bit. And I was like looking for the mural that they had painted for my classmate that was killed back when I was in 7th grade and stuff. And as soon as I started wandering around like near the front or whatever, someone came walking up and was like, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I explained and he was just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, you can't really be walking around on campus, but it's fine, whatever," and was like very nice about it. But like,
Wait.
I think he was just to be like, "Hey, I don't want weirdos walking around here on a weekend,"
Oh, so it was a weekend? Nobody
Yeah, it was off hours.
I definitely had that thought when I was there. Just like, it feels a little weird to be in my 40s walking around to high school, but like,
totally.
I wondered if you told somebody like, "Hey, I'm an alumnus." Like, is that?
Yeah.
I'm just reminiscing here, but
That's exactly what I did. I told him what I was there looking at and stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. I can't let you in through here or anything, but it's like if you just want to like peek through or something, that's fine. No biggie."
Okay, yeah, that's all I was doing.
I think going back to the high school and reminiscing, super fun, but the elementary school, now that's where the real if you're able to get inside and sit in one of those tiny little desks. Like, sit in a tiny chair.
My elementary school is no longer there.
Oh, really? Just gone?
The 4th through 6th grade one, which is the only one that I really spent any time significantly at, it was on the fairgrounds. And at some point, that school either moved or closed, and they just demolished the building it was in and did something else on the fairgrounds.
Get rid of all the ghosts. Put them underground. Apparently, New Jersey is a bit of a hotbed for this issue, and I know where I stand personally, but tearing up the field and putting in the kind of plastic grass, I'm just not a fan.
No, turf sucks.
I think it sucks. I think it feels weird. It's very hot. It's gross, not to mention all the environmental plastic stuff that goes along with it.
Not to mention that it is like maybe directly responsible for more torn ACLs than any other thing in football.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
If you plant weird on turf, sometimes your leg can twist in a bad way.
Wait, did you say plant? Wait, is it real grass on top of fake? Like sod?
He's saying plant your foot.
Oh, plant your foot. Okay, I thought you were talking about
if you're
like
wearing
some kind
cleats and you plant your foot in turf, especially the kind that they use in like the NFL and stuff.
So I thought
your leg can get stuck in a weird way sometimes.
Got it. I thought you meant there was like some kind of artificial sod layer that you planted real grass on or something.
No, their artificial sod layer, at least in the NFL, is thousands and upon thousands of little rubber balls.
Yes, so that's what there's like a mat underneath the plastic turf. As far as my, there's a big article on this because again, I think New Jersey is a big market for it, and they're trying to push hard into New Jersey. The turf people, big turf,
get them out of here.
And yeah, those little plastic beads. Apparently, they kind of can spill out and hit the like in a big rain or something, get washed out from underneath it, and not only again. Everybody's talking about plastics in the water. It not only contribute to that, but also remove some of the cushioning that is under that in a way. I don't know. The whole thing just seems like I think I think this is a solvable problem without plastic. I really do. I think we can figure this one out with maybe a better budget for groundskeeping and stuff like that because I just don't think this is the way. Jim.
Yeah, I mean, look, real grass fields, they are water intensive. They are more expensive to care for. But, I'd say I will take that expense and that work over the millions of rubber balls and plastics flying all over the place. And again, all the torn knee ligaments that come along with it.
And apparently these things are also, it's from, again, these are just things I've read about from Jersey, expensive to repair after big storms.
Yes.
So I don't know, but I think
real grass, school in September. These are our platforms.
This is as I become old and cranky, this is my platform. I should very much state, I am not a sports person. So
I am, so I can speak for you.
Yes. Well, so there's some of the arguments that like, well, we need more fields for youth sports. And my reaction is like, do we? I don't know.
We got plenty, honestly.
I don't know. Get more Switch controllers. Go have a good time.
I think we need some other third places that aren't just sports fields.
The third place?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing everyone argues these days is that one of the problems for kids these days is that they just don't have a third place to go, generally speaking, other than home and school.
Bring back arcades and not like the modern arcades that they already have, but like the arcades that I like.
Exactly. The ones from my childhood, the only time that mattered.
That's right. Bring them back and bring back indoor smoking so you can have the real arcade experience.
Yes.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Arcade machine smoke in a Pizza Hut.
Arcade machine with an ashtray balanced on the control surface.
Fuck yeah. And play Operation Wolf in the Pizza Hut while I'm chain smoking.
If you're pushing that player one button and it doesn't have a cigarette burn on it, then you ain't doing it right.
You put it there, all right? You put it there.
Like, frankly, bring back arcades in places where that are not arcades or where you wouldn't like. Some of the most formative arcade game memories I have are in like the entryway of the Walmart and the like strangely empty but incredibly stocked arcade at the local pool hall.
Hell yeah.
As like a 12, 13-year-old nerd walking through the local pool hall full of bikers and shit just to get to the back arcade was kind of weird.
I told you about my arcade growing up, right?
No, maybe.
Probably, but I'm not sure I recall.
Also on the fairgrounds, directly across the street from where I went to elementary school,
right.
It was an arcade that lived inside of a livestock auction yard.
Great.
That they would wheel the machines out to do the livestock auctions, then put them all back afterward. Eventually, they moved into a different space, but for a long time, you would just walk into this barn-like structure, and it was just rows and rows of arcade machines.
Yeah. Bring it back.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen a pool hall in a while.
Yeah.
So
billiards are dead, man.
It's gone, sadly. Or it's like a yoga studio now or something. But
yeah,
an arcade machine in the hot yoga room.
Dude playing WWF Superstars at the Pizza Hut, playing Double Dragon for the first time at the bowling alley. Like they just fucking put arcade machines in places again. But
again, good ones.
Yeah.
I don't want no fucking iPad with Fruit Ninja on it. I want a real arcade machine.
That's it. We're simple men with simple wishes. That's it.
I want to walk into a 7-Eleven and have an APB cabinet waiting for me.
Yep.
Just like things were back in the old country.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Now you like that?
Those fine vintage Sicilian arcade cabinets.
Mafia, the old country.
Old world cabinets.
That's right.
Old world cabs.
Just like Nona used to play.
Mm-hmm.
Nona on a narc machine. Just like she used to love it. Mafia, the old country, out now. Did you guys know, because I had either known and forgotten or never knew, that this was a $50 release?
Yeah,
I did.
So I think, according to that little thing that now pops up when you in the little card on like the PlayStation that pops up of like, I guess, achievement or trophy progress, I'm 30+% through this game. Are you
talking about the little number, numeric percentage it shows? I'm not sure what that's based on.
I don't know what that's tracking, but
I think it's based on some hidden metadata they've got for how long the game is, or I think it's based on like milestones actually.
So I mean, that could either be overall progress or I'm 30% into my next trophy. I don't know, but it seemed like this game was moving at a weirdly slow and fast clip at the same time. So first thing I noticed about Mafia, the old country, and not having really dug into any of the more recent, quote unquote, relatively recent Mafia games.
Well, okay, there's only 3 of them, and like the last one was Mafia 3.
Yeah, I think I really only spent time with Mafia 1, which was like basically in my memory was like GTA with some like shakedown mechanics.
The game was like very well respected, I remember. Like I think it got PC Game of the Year at GameSpot the year it came out.
It was a novel application of sort of the GTA crime thing, but in a different structure and a different design. And then
I reviewed 2, and my memory of 2 is that it was like a pretty good story, and like the gameplay was decent, but the open world was like not really an open world. Like it was open in the sense that you drove between missions, but there was kind of nothing to do out there.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of window dressing to get from story mission to story mission.
And I reviewed 3.
That's the New Orleans one?
That's the New Orleans or fake New Orleans one, yeah.
Okay.
That was more of an open world. That's another one where I feel like the storytelling kind of outstripped the gameplay. The gameplay wasn't terrible by any stretch, but it was very fixated on cool-looking gun battles and not a whole lot else. And I think that at a certain point kind of ran its course for me.
I will tell you that How Long to Beat says 13 and a half hours for main and side missions in this game.
Okay. All right.
Pretty. And I figured based on the price that it would be a pretty tight experience.
So this seems like a tight narrative experience because again, going into this with really no notion of what this game's main loop was going to be like, I am not seeing so far, I think I'm in act 3 or 4 of any open world stuff.
They kind of got out there and said that this was going to be what they called, I think, a more focused experience in terms of like storytelling and not really trying to be a big open world thing. Which
is fine for me. This is definitely a tight narrative experience with character work. That seems to be what's going on here.
And that's kind of what I want, honestly.
I mean, so many people lament games being too long and too big and too expensive these days, like $20 off of full price, and it's like and that's like low full price and not the $80 they're trying to push.
Mm-hmm.
And and not a giant sprawling 80-hour open world thing. Like maybe that's fine.
So the thing that I would say out of the gate here, the big kind of bold points, the things you'd see in the pro-con column of the review, is that I'd say pro, characters are interesting, the setting is cool. Music is good. The atmosphere just feels great. It just takes place in Sicily.
It's 1910s,
early 1900s. It starts
Okay.
jumping years, like like it's 1905, then suddenly it's 1906, and then 7.
And this is a location that they used, I think, a little bit in Mafia 2 during the World War II section of that game. Like some of the island, I think, was represented in that game during a chunk of it.
And you remember more about 2 than I do.
This is from reading. This is not from me. Like I did play 2, but I barely remembered it. But someone was like doing comparison shots of like, here's what this area looked like in 2 versus now type stuff.
So I think there's cool stuff. The game can be voiced. You can set the voice to Sicilian. There is oddly no Italian voiceover, but you can choose Sicilian.
I mean, knowing what little I know about Sicilians, that feels like what they would want.
Yeah. So I know Italian and I do not know Sicilian. So I have Sicilian as the voice track and Italian as the subtitle option.
Nice.
And it is the dialect stuff is different enough where I'm like, wait, what the hell did he just say? And then read the subtitles and be like, I caught none of none of that.
Is this like a Mandarin and Cantonese thing where like maybe some of it is similar, but the way you say it is totally different?
It could be. I don't know enough about Mandarin and Cantonese.
Okay.
No, I think those are more distinct than you might think. Like,
Okay.
I know people who are fluent in Cantonese that like barely can understand anything in Mandarin.
Yeah, this is a case where like if you were to, like the written notes they have, I can try and parse out, but it's a little tough. But there's definitely crossover there. But my main point being, it's kind of fun. This is maybe the first game I've ever seen with a Sicilian voice option, right? Like that is a fun thing to do and appropriate because it takes place in Sicily. And from what I can tell from some quick just bebopping around on the internet, these are Sicilians doing this, not like Italians doing Sicilian dialect.
Right.
So I think that's fun. It is atmospherically very tight. Having not been in Sicily in the early 1900s, I can't say if it's accurate or they are pulling from.
I mean, you saw Godfather 2, right?
Yeah, I'm saying, are they pulling from the cinematic universe?
Yeah.
Because that's the vibe I get, right? Like when I play it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this feels right. And then it's like, no, this feels like what's been portrayed to me in movies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, whatever. That's the Mafia series as well, right? Kind of like GTA pulls from the movie universe of what you want. I think Mafia games also pull from like the organized crime with the flavor of the movies.
Right, because actual organized crime is mostly just a bunch of loosely affiliated scumbags, whereas Mafia gets to, the games and the movies get to kind of sort of romanticize and sort of like build out that stuff in ways that is not just dirtbags doing dirtbag shit.
I mean, like organized crime is basically corporations, am I right? Am I right, folks?
Aha! Yeah, no, I know.
Right.
It's been blessed by the law. That's the only real difference.
So this does have some interesting stuff in it that, you know, my kids were watching it, and I was like, hey, just a heads up, as you're going through this kind of long intro here, I'd be like, you're probably going to be the bad guy, you know, like you are.
Yeah, you're a criminal.
You're going to be a criminal. And lo and behold, there's like a kind of earlier mission where you're like, hey, we got to go break up a union. Like we got to get these guys back to work. And they try and do some stuff with the character development that is a little bit like, yeah, you know, that's not my favorite thing, but the Don wants this, make sure they all get paid, you know, before you ask them to leave kind of thing, where you can tell that probably the developers have to acknowledge that this is what an organized crime family would do.
You're trying to thread a needle there.
But maybe are trying to be like, to show their hand a bit like, but maybe we don't necessarily feel like this is we're not going to try and say this is the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
So it is interesting. There's just a hint of just like they pay the union organizers their dues and then ask them to leave after they beat them up. Mechanically, the game has a couple of things going on. Again, where I am, one of them is knife fighting, which, you know, it's kind of a big deal. That's a big fight mechanic in the game. A lot of like the boss encounters, quote unquote, or the big cinematic fights are knife duels where you go lock into this like third person over the shoulder view and you have a thrust parry. It's not quite fighting game-esque, but it has that circling each other.
Punch out-ish a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little loose. It's not super tight. But there's a parry mechanic and a dodge mechanic. So there's an unblockable attack, that somebody might have, or a guard that you have to break by charging. And when you choose your knife, the knives have different stats on them, right? They're like, just
like the old country.
Just like the old country. Everything is a stat. The other use for knives in the game are to break open locks, either on lock boxes or doors. And the mechanic they have is that every time you do that, the knife has like a dullness rating, and then you have to use a whetstone to bring it back up. So if you pop open a lock and it's your last rating tick on the knife, you can't do that again until you resharpen the knife on a whetstone, which is a consumable, which you just get throughout the game. You play as Enzo. You are a miner. You are someone who works in the mines. I don't know what age you are. You are. You have a friend.
Let's say maybe would be in college if that were a going concern for people of his station.
I guess probably like late teens, early 20s, somewhere in there. But you are young enough to have been, I think, sold off to what seems like indentured servitude. Like your dad was maybe in debt or something like that, and you work in these mines. You have a friend. The setup is that you and the friend are trying to save up money to get out of here. You might guess what happens to the friend, and you wind up fleeing from the mine. Obviously, the mining company owns you, right? I think so they try to track you down, but you happen to run on to the Don's property. Anything on the Don's property belongs to the Don, and the people who run the mine are not necessarily in good favor with the Don. So that's how you wind up becoming part of the family, right?
Got it.
The Don is like, hey kid. Like, basically, he's like, I just wanted to double middle finger those people who are trying to get you back. He does the kind of he does the thing where the guy's like, I'll just take the kid and go. And again, a lot from the movies. The Don goes up to him, just like whispers in his ear or something. He's just like, anything on my property belongs to me. Right. And then,
right.
Like one of those things. And then
become one of the Don's guys. The mine guys can't touch you anymore.
That's right. He's under my protection is literally, I think, what he says. Let everybody know Enzo is now under my protection. You start to prove your worth as you go through, and you've got your analogs for the Godfather, right? Like, this guy's a fuck up. This guy's good. Who's in the family, right? Like, who's going to probably die in Act 3?
Is there a hapless brother character?
There is kind of a hapless
of course,
cousin, maybe. Like,
sure.
There's a girl who's maybe the daughter of the Don, who you can understand might be complicate things. There's a lot of stepping on cliches in this thing, right?
That's fine to a point, I think.
Yeah, all of it's done in a fun enough way where it's not taking itself too seriously, but it is not played for laughs either. It is it is weaving in and out of like, yeah, of course, like, oh no, don't get seen with the daughter because like the Don's super protective, but also you're the one who seems to be able to do everything super kid and impress the Don, save face constantly. So my only real quibble with the game so far has been the gameplay is a little lackluster. The knife fights themselves are not that exciting, and the shooting does not feel great to me. So eventually, I think the closest thing, without maybe even referencing Mafia, it feels to is almost like Uncharted-like battle arenas, where you wind up in half-height cover style little pits, and then the people just kind of flood in, and they take like 2 or 3 shots to take down unless you get a headshot, and you kind of fight for like kill 15 enemies and do some headshots.
Question for you. How much, okay, this is a really specific question, but it was kind of one of the main things I remember about Mafia 3, which this studio made. This is Hangar 13.
Oh, this is right.
This is Hangar 13. I don't know how much of the talent that made Mafia 3 is still there, but it is the same studio.
God, what did they put out in between?
Mafia Definitive Edition, and also they did a Top Spin tennis game.
Right.
Oh,
okay. Sure.
Like 2 years ago or something.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the question I have is, during those gun battles, when you shoot a guy, how labored and ridiculous are the animations when dudes die?
So I think I do remember this from watching some video of Mafia 3 with falling off of balconies and stuff. Dude,
it's not even just balconies. Like when a character in that game died, it did not matter where they were standing. Their instinct was to immediately look for the nearest edge, whatever it was, and then spill over it. Like I had gun battles where I was standing on the ground and dudes would see the fountain in front of them and then dive over it like it was a balcony.
It's it maybe not quite that, because this is a lot of, this isn't necessarily industrialized. You don't get a lot of scaffoldings and things like that.
But they have railings.
They have some railings. Most of my fights have been outdoors, but I have seen people pitch over boxes and do those things. It's more that...
It's really funny. It's not a thing I'm really even criticizing. It was just a thing that got really ridiculous after a point.
I think it's just really the necessarily the fight to fight, shot to shot gameplay of the gun battles doesn't feel all that great. You're mostly just popping out of cover trying to get a headshot, right? And then they duck and cover, you bandage up, and then you kind of rinse and repeat until the next beat happens, right? Until the reinforcements come or somebody does something. But it hasn't actually been that saturated with that. They are mostly tied to story events of like, hey, we got to go to this place. Here come the thieves. There at least has been one introduction. I don't know how much this takes on later on. I thought the game was just going to get past the tutorial and then open up. So I don't know if that opening up ever actually happens. But there was a drive around what felt like almost a tutorializing of getting your payments from people, where the kind of mentor character is like, sometimes you have to show a little force. Sometimes you have to be passive, right? Like you need to get your money, you need to do these things. I don't know if later on that's going to become a thing where you get more agency in figuring that stuff out. Because you can point a gun at someone during that little tutorialized bit and they start cowering, and then they're like, and then Son's like, give them the money. I feel like that was a bigger thing I read about in other Mafia games of that of that mechanic. I don't know if that'll play out to where I actually have choice in how to approach that or not. So we'll see. Because right now it has really been very do a thing, do a kind of tight vignette of story sequences, fade to black, come back up a year later, and we're moving. So
do the whole thing again.
Do like another year in the life. Right. That's what it's been so far. I did get the late title card after the first one, so I thought at some point there'd be like maybe 3 missions you get to choose to do which one. I haven't quite gotten that yet, but maybe I'm right on the precipice of it where I am. I'm enjoying it so far.
That's good.
The atmosphere is really doing a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that is the thing, though, about if you're not going to do the giant sprawling open world with a million icons on the map, like, if you're getting back to basics, you have to think of something new to do there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just, like, kind of like you said, you can't just make something that's like Uncharted style from 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I think Mafia 1 was not... Mafia 1, if I remember, and my memory's terrible, but it was more linear, right? It wasn't an open.
It was very
that's
linear.
Right. I never played Mafia 1, but that was my understanding as well.
So
maybe that's kind of what these games have always been to an extent.
And when I say GTA, like when I say Mafia 1, I mean more the story stuff of GTA, right? Like the kind of like focus on the crime parts, like a heavy filmic version of the thing.
Totally. It always felt to me like 2K at least wanted Mafia to be their more prestigious crime drama versus like I understand that Grand Theft Auto is always going to make billions more than Mafia ever will.
It's also funny when you start with that sentence construction, because it sounds like you're going to say like 2K wanted Mafia to be their GTA, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, they already have the GTA.
Exactly.
Like,
that's what I mean, though.
Do they really need another one?
And that's what I mean, though, is that like I think they always wanted Mafia to sort of appeal to a different component of that, which is like something that is a little bit more about dramatic storytelling than the let's just say hammer to the head satire of GTA, generally speaking. But the other thing about those games, with the exception of the first one, which, was kind of its own thing, I feel like every Mafia release, including the definitive edition, has basically been 2K saying, do you people still want this? Is this a thing that we should still be doing? Like, there's always an ellipses kind of at the end of a Mafia release of like, so should we do more of these? Like, is this what you people want? We don't really know. Like, there's never been that, like, intense confidence that Mafia is, like, one of our marquee properties. Not because the games are bad or anything. It just never gets the push or the development resources that some of their other, let's just say, crime series get.
And so I'm hoping with this on a tighter focus and really kind of maybe staying inside the lines with the scope of it. This one maybe is a very tight, narratively driven, linear story.
As long as it's good,
Yeah, and that's what I'm enjoying so far. Is just kind of not overstaying its welcome with any of those things I just said. The knife fights and the there's stealth, a decent amount of it in it as well. But again, just not overstaying your welcome, getting in and out of it, and being like, okay, this is not. None of these things are done super well, but they are also not done to death in here.
They're not hindering you.
Yeah, well, they're just like you're done with it fairly quickly, and it's for a purpose, right? Like, get through this section for the story part of it, and then you'll just fade to black and come back up for another story part later. Right. It's not like the open world stuff where you're like, no, you're going to do this stealth sequence 1,000 times because you need to collect all the oranges in Sicily, whatever it is. So yeah, it's there is a kind of what feels like a mild upgrade mechanic where you have a rosary, of course, and you're putting different beads and trinkets on it, which give you certain buffs. I haven't explored that too much, but overall, I'm enjoying it. Aside from, like I said, kind of loose, middling shoot cover mechanics and knife stuff.
Final question for you.
Yeah.
Did you get the stew recipe at the beginning of the game?
I saw it.
Okay.
It's fairly basic. It's
I've heard some people have talked about trying to make it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not overly complicated, but
all right.
Look, a good stew is always about the ingredients, right? If you got you got to go source that.
And it's about the love the maker puts into it.
That's right. That's right.
Known as sausage stew.
I am probably most curious to see the arc of this, what feels like well-worn territory story. Will they go out of their way to swerve on what seems like a faded narrative that they are on already with the Don who lost his wife, who has the beautiful young daughter, and the young upstart mafioso who is now part of the family? Will things take a turn and surprise me, or will they go down the path that I would think it would go down if following?
One way to find out.
And that is to put another 7 hours into the game, I guess, which is kind of great, honestly. I am curious what the side content is. I haven't had too much
maybe there just isn't
call
much
for it. Yeah. Maybe it's just a couple of missions.
I believe the numbers for like story only and story plus side are like very close together.
Oh, okay. I did have like one or two things that came up that were like, hey, you could do the main objective or this optional objective, but the optional objective has mostly just been a cutscene for something or other. That's my early-ish take on Mafia, the old country. I'm going to continue rolling through that. Again, props for having it all voiced with a Sicilian dialect. I think that's super cool, and kind of illuminating for how much Sicilian I can't understand versus Italian. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got some older but older games to talk about here.
Speaking of going back to the arcades.
That's right. And we'll cover those in just a moment. Stick around. All right, we are back, and it's time to hit what seems like maybe a bit of nostalgia by way of remake, reboot, retouch, re-look at, re-envisioning, and homage. Let's start with Gradius Origins here.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
2 weeks running. Fans of side-scrolling shoot-'em-ups are feasting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Either like a new sequel to a classic side-scrolling shoot-'em-up franchise, or like a new one. In the case of Eartheon, which is not like a sequel to anything, but is very much in that style. Gradius Origins. And Alex, you've played some of this too. I understand.
I've tried a bunch of the games in it.
This thing seems pretty good. It's just sort of great for me, but it seems quite serviceable, I would say.
Yeah.
I think it is for me, mechanically, for the most part, it's quite sound. I think my biggest issue with it is that it's kind of living in the shadow of what Digital Eclipse is doing with the Gold Master
exactly
games.
How I feel.
So I think the biggest thing to know about this thing for just about anybody listening to this is that it's all arcade games only, no home versions of anything, which I was actually kind of shocked by.
It's like mildly let down. I mean, not that most of those versions I'm super particular about, but I do love the NES version of Life Force.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that I played when I was a kid. Like, so yeah, like the home versions of these games that you grew up with, not here, which there's plenty of ways to play those games these days. It's not the end of the world. And if anything, actually, the arcade games that are in here are way less accessible to most people, or certainly were back in the day, than the home versions.
Definitely.
So like there is an element of like, oh, this is stuff I've never seen before. Help me, I don't have the list in front of me. It's Gradius 1 through 3 and now Salamander 1 through 3, with Salamander 3 being the new game, right?
Yes.
That's it. I can't think of anything else in there.
They kind of separate out like Japanese Salamander and US Life Force, but other than that, it's basically what the rundown is.
I thought that was a little weird on the main menu. Splits Life Force out, but if you go into Salamander, it's also there because Life Force is just the US release of Salamander, except there might have been some mechanical changes.
I honestly think at some point someone was just like, people are going to laser in looking for Life Force, just put it on the main menu. That's
probably exactly it, although it did confuse me into thinking Life Force was somehow a separate game from Salamander, which it's not. Okay. The gameplay part of this seems totally fine.
Yeah,
like
all the ones I've tried seem right.
Emulation seems good. They still make you put credits in with the triangle button, at least on PS5.
Yes.
Nice.
It's got rewind. It does not have save states, right? I thought I read that it did, but I couldn't find that anywhere.
I never found any. The other game we're going to talk about does have some kind of save state function.
Okay.
I didn't see one in this.
Okay, so like you can just pull the left trigger on the controller to rewind at any time, basically. Although I think when you do that, it disqualifies you from the online leaderboards.
It does.
But not achievements, because there are also modes. They've done some modifications. Like each one of these games has a quote easy mode, which is new, and also an invincible mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so invincible, you can't get achievements.
Okay, that makes. I mean, that
but
makes
easy
sense.
mode, but easy mode you can.
Oh, okay.
But I think rewind. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I think rewinding does not disqualify you from achievements. It only disqualifies you from the online rankings.
That also would make sense to me.
I believe is how it works. So. Anyway, it's got, the rewind is nice because those games are all hard as fuck.
Extremely.
It does say on the product page that there are save states in the. I don't know where they're surfaced, but
I had read that, but I'm not sure how to access them. I have not been able to find them. They do another fun thing I always enjoy, which is they are clearly hooking into the memory of the games, because there are a bunch of like what they call gadgets on the sides of the screen, and you can actually go in the menu and customize those. And they vary by game, but it's all like, here's all the power ups you have. Here's like. Different stats on how you're playing and what you have equipped. That's and stuff cool. That like shows up as these little like literally it's almost like iOS Android style like widgets that go into slots on the side of the screen, which is kind of neat. I'm trying to think what else. Like it's got different display modes like CRT modes and stuff, and I kind of wish you could set one setting globally for all the games, because you have to go into settings. Every game defaults to no filters, and you have to go into the settings for each game if you want. For example, if you want CRT filters, it would be nice if you could just like set that once and never again, because there are like we said, sorry, I'm doing all the talking here. There are 6 games in here, but some of them, there are like 4 variations per game. Like that's like my
different revisions and whatnot.
So it's like my one complaint about the game is this thing is like woefully lacking in historical context, but I will give them credit for, I think it's like Gradius 2 is the one that has the Japanese AM show version, for example. Like they'll literally have like first Japanese release, final Japanese release, Asian release, North American release, or again like the trade show prototype that only showed up once publicly ever, stuff like that. And like they do a pretty good job of at least giving you a couple of sentences per version to say what is what. It's like, oh, this is the first release of Gradius 1 that came out with the Konami bubble memory system that took time to warm up after you turned the machine on. The North American version added continues and spawns extra power-ups when you die, like stuff like that. Like they're actually very good about telling you what the differences are between these minor revisions. And they do have, sorry, Alex, jump in at any time. They do have a lot of concept art. Like kind of a lot, actually. Like there's full on like sketches for Gradius 1. There's like sketches of the original Vic Viper design. There's like graph paper and notebook paper, like layouts of stages in there, which is fun to see. Like kind of all the hand drawn artwork of the like level layouts they did back in the day.
Yeah.
And that stuff's cool. I will mention, we were actually talking off microphone recently about how great the Atari 2600 era painted covers are. This game has been a good reminder that Gradius is like right in the middle of that era of hire a good artist to do a nice painting for your cabinet art or your box art kind of thing.
That Life Force NES box art is an all-timer.
Like the big snakehead looking straight at the camera one. The Gradius 1 looks like some Gundam shit, you know, like it just looks like some giant space warfare with rad looking 80s spaceships type stuff. Like, wouldn't mind framing a couple prints of these on my wall at some point.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, like there's a fair amount of stuff in here, but like they don't even put years on each game. Like they literally don't even tell you what year each of these games came out, let alone like any amount of historical context for who made it or what hardware it ran on or like anything. Like I would, again, maybe I'm just spoiled by all the Gold Master games from Digital Eclipse, but like I would love just some kind of very basic timeline of like the original Gradius came out in 1985 and blah, 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 like whatever. Home versions were these, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all just, there's just like, it all just feels like it exists in a vacuum. Like there's no like placing it on a historical timeline.
Right. It's like all of the interviews and stuff stripped out of that Gold Masters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more like an old classic collection where it's like really the supplemental materials are kind of just whatever they had.
Yeah. Like you are here to play these games. You're not necessarily here to care about what year each one came out and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that maybe, strikes how much that visual timeline helps in those Gold Master series for placing things and feeling like you're moving through time a bit.
Totally. And it's especially weird because Alex, I want to hear what you think of Salamander 3 because I think I
finished it. I
got to level 4. I have not. I think you've played all of it, but like that's the one game where when you go in to play Salamander 3, because that's the new one, the blurb on that one is like it's something along the lines of like Salamander 3 envisions the scenario. What if there had been a sequel to Salamander 2 in 1998?
Yeah.
I think is how it's phrased.
And I think that's an accurate description of what it is.
It is, but like putting that year number on it, like made me think like, well, when did Salamander 2 come out? Like, where was the franchise at this point? You know, like just like a tiny little bit of context about like, oh, the series was not as profitable as it used to be, but blah, blah, blah. You know, like any amount of like situating this historically would have been nice because this, and I would love to know if, because they said, what if this game had come out in 1998? Like, did they design this against period hardware?
Hard to say.
Like, I would love to know because it does some pretty impressive graphical tricks.
It does, but it does feel, it feels like graphical tricks you could do in a 1990s arcade cabinet.
Yes, 100%. So like, that's why I was curious, like, oh, did they actually constrain themselves to a game that would have worked on the hardware of the time? Because that would be super cool. Anyway.
But yeah, like Salamander 3 is, for all intents and purposes, exactly what you think it would be, which is to say it is a beefier, more like visual fidelity rich version of the basic structure of Life Force and Life Force 2. Like the levels are basically riffs on the levels from those games. Like the bosses are riffs on the bosses from that game, but they're more complicated. There's more going on there. I will say, playing Life Force, I had never played the US arcade version of Life Force before. I had on MAME at some point, like years and years ago, but I had never really sat down to play it. So when I started hearing voice samples coming out in Life Force 1, I was like, what have I been missing my whole life?
It's fucking crazy. I was the same way. I've played it on the Mister a few times, but I never saw a cabinet for Life Force back in the day. And yes, it's like kind of that same game as the NES, but the voices really just like wallop you over the head. And also there's a lot of really goofy ass samples in these games. Like, like you get to the bosses and they're telling you what to do. And like you get to that first boss and it's like, destroy the mouth. Like, like a dude who sounds like he works in accounting is on there just going, destroy the mouth. Like,
destroy the eyes.
Yes.
That's the Moai head one. I
forget which one it is that alternates between vertical and side scrolling levels, but every time you transition, it'll be like turn to the right, and then you turn to the right. Like it's
3 ridiculous. Does that. 3 is this Salamander 3 does that.
It's 3, right? It's like that's the value of having these arcade games when you only played the home releases, is going back and seeing what the kind of full experience was.
Yeah. And I'll say this, like 3, it didn't like knock my socks off or anything, but it is a really solid one of these. Like it feels like a natural follow-up to the original Salamander games and fits within the Gradius general vibe as very well. But these are arcade games. Like these games can be beaten in like 45 minutes if you just keep pumping credits into them and then you're done. You know, like well,
not all of them, because some of those early games don't have continues. Some versions of the very earliest ones you can't continue, which is crazy.
Okay. So in 3, you can definitely just continue your way through it.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
But it's well designed. It feels good. Like they're very explicit about like which versions have like specific, arcade board related slowdown and things like that. So you're kind of, what you're getting yourself into. This is M2, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned this. This is the...
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so this is M2 that made this. If you don't know them off the top, they are a Japanese studio that mostly deals in classic games and emulation. They are also, I guess, the people that were behind the development for the Sega Genesis Mini and Mini 2. So they have a lot of experience in this realm. But I feel like what I remember mostly about their stuff is that they do really good emulation. They are not well known for having extremely robust historical aspects of their games.
Yeah, I mean, that's something in this style of collection, which, I mean, let's be real, there are a ton of these types of collections coming out these days. Like, I would love to see more of them catch up to, or at least dabble in the type of...
Try it, yeah.
Kind of like historiography that Digital Eclipse is doing.
And this is $40, right?
Yeah, which I think is like maybe just a hair steep, but like for someone who is a fan of these games like me, I did not feel bad about buying it.
It is maybe a bit much for what's in here, I think, but again, the games all play very well. And the other thing
of them.
Yes, well, there's like 6 of them realistically. I mean, like you might want to play every variation of Salamander 2 on here to see the differences, but you might not.
What am I even doing? Yeah.
It is interesting, kind of last thing I'll say, similar to Eartheon last week, it's interesting to see Salamander 3 and how much less punishing it is. I mean, setting the credits aside where you can just keep... Also, I think it's funny they still make you put credits into this game that was designed, last year for home. But
it does make it fit in with the others a little bit more comfortably.
But unlike a lot of the Gradius games, you die and it fades to black and you respawn at a checkpoint. Like this is one of the other type where they just send another ship onto the screen when you die. But this game, you drop all your power ups when you die.
Yes,
which is unfucking thinkable. But yes, that is unfucking thinkable by classic Life Force Salamander Gradius standards.
You just wouldn't have them normally.
Yeah, like they're just gone typically. Like literally in this game, if you've got like 4 options, also. They don't call them options in any of the arcade games. They're always called multiples, which weirds me out.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if you have like 4 options and laser and double missiles and whatever, and you die, you just drop all of those and you just pick them right back up. Like
that's wild. I assume they're slowly scrolling off.
Yeah, they're floating away, so you can miss them, but it's just so much more friendly than the old games.
That's funny.
Anyway, this thing's cool. Like there's a lot of good art in the concept art, visual art. Like, I might dig into the Steam install and see if I can pull those high-res scans of those paintings out of there for perhaps phone lock screen use or something.
There you go.
Like there's some good art in there for sure.
Gradius Origins out now on pretty much everything. That is $40. Alex, but that is not the only M2 thing you've been playing.
Wait, did M2 also make the other one? I didn't actually see who made the other one.
The other one being Operation Night Strikers, an M2 joint.
Oh, that is also M2.
Taito.
Interesting. Okay.
Wild.
Well, they're doing some good work. So yeah, Operation Night Strikers is a collection of Taito arcade games, most notably Operation Wolf, but Operation Thunderbolt and a couple of others are on there too. And it's worth noting that this is a collection that I believe right now is only out on PC and on Switch. And the reason for the Switch thing in particular makes sense because these are light gun games, they have allowed you, via their various control schemes, to use the Joy-Cons as a sort of light gun substitute if you want to do that.
Are all 4 of them light gun games? Because I'm not familiar with Night Striker or Space Gun.
So Thunderbolt, I believe, also is. I have not tried the other 2 yet because I literally never played those games, so I had no familiarity with them. Last night was a very heady evening of playing a lot of Salamander 3 and a lot of Operation Wolf, primarily.
Sure. Look, that sounds like a good evening to me.
Yeah. No, it was a good time. Operation Wolf is a game that I have a great deal of affection for because it is literally one of the very first video games I ever played. They had a cabinet at the 7-Eleven that was about a quarter mile from where I grew up, and it was where the school bus would drop me off every day after elementary school.
Great.
And so I would go there, I would buy some really shitty comic books, and then I would play a bunch of Operation Wolf and completely ignore the Afterburner machine that was right next to it. Not because I dislike Afterburner, I just liked Operation Wolf that much.
It had a very vibrating gun.
Yes. And not only did it have a very vibrating gun, listen, as someone who liked 80s action movies a lot as a kid, even when I wasn't supposed to be watching them, I don't think any game of this era better captured the spirit of the, let's just say, Arnold Schwarzenegger type, just mowing down scads and scads of random mustachioed bad guys.
I mean, this game is basically Commando in light gun game form.
100%.
The gun was an Uzi, right?
Yes. Yes, it was. Unfortunately, there is no Uzi that comes along with this. Apparently, at one point, we're talking about making some kind of peripheral for this collection and then did not end up putting it out. But I will say this, after doing a little bit of settings tweaking in the menus to make the Joy-Con thing and the screen, like the sensitivity work at a comfortable level, it works pretty well. Not perfect, but it feels like it is getting at the notion of what a light gun game should feel like in a context like this. It cannot one-to-one it, but it's pretty damn close.
And these are all the arcade versions again, right? There's nothing here. Okay, this is my one beef with this collection. They include the Japanese and US arcade versions, I think, of just about everything. But if you want the home ports of any of these games, it is an additional, I think, $20 DLC. Oh.
Now, the core game is $25, so it's not like a $40 thing that they're adding. But when you put it all together...
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't love the home versions of any of those games enough to want to spend that extra money, but I think that's an interesting approach that maybe isn't the way I would have done it.
Oh, that's wild. I would never have even guessed that.
This is one where I think you are very much here for the arcade versions, not necessarily for a home version of one of these games. Okay. But if you like this kind of thing, it's $25. I think you kind of need to have a certain amount of affection for these specific games to jump into this, but if all you want is a way you can very easily play Operation Wolf in front of a television, have the controls not suck, I'd say this is about as good as you're going to get.
I'm trying to find an Operation Wolf cabinet for sale out there, and they're very hard to find.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
From what I'm seeing, vintagearcade.net is listing one for $4,300.
Oof.
If that's in good working order, that's not the worst thing in the world, but I certainly wouldn't pay that.
Did you know there was an Operation Wolf remaster called Operation Wolf Returns for First Mission? That is a VR 3D version of this thing from 2023.
I did not.
Maybe put out by Microids.
Which, wow, that looks bad.
So here's the thing. Every part of that sentence, from the start to the beginning, I thought I remembered, and then I remembered less and less of it as you added a new detail every time. I thought I remembered some kind of remake, and then you said it was for VR, and I was like, that can't be right.
It's both for VR and you can do regular.
And then you said 2023, I was like, okay, that's definitely not what I'm thinking about. So
yeah, it's interesting.
Anyway, if you want to play the real shit.
Oh, shit.
They have it for you here on the Nintendo Switch and on PC. So,
Night Strikers. It's how much was that again? Is it
$25?
25, but then a little bit more.
Then a DLC on top of that if you want the other stuff.
Okay. Again, PC and Switch.
Yeah.
Brad, finally here, rounding it out, a game I had not heard of, the Scouring, which is in early access. Or is that this had a demo on the Steam Next Fest a few weeks ago that apparently went over very well, and I held off of that demo to wait for the final release, which is still not here because it just came out in early access. But it is a Warcraft-like, unmistakably. When you look at it, it's an RTS. There are two factions: orcs and humans.
Mm-hmm.
Stop me when you've heard enough here.
I'm with you so far.
It's very early access. Like, there is no campaign as such. Like, when you hit campaign, it's just a skirmish against AI. It's rad. I have a match saved right now that I'm like dying to get back to right now. It plays a lot like Warcraft. Some of the things that are in it that feel new to me, I gather from looking at user reviews on Steam, might actually be like Age of Empires mechanics that I just don't know about because I never really played AoE.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But it's very much base building, building up barracks and sawmill and, that whole thing.
Can you build walls?
Not that I've seen so far, but it's very early. So, like, who knows what all. And it might be like a very, very small team, single developer style situation. It feels pretty jank. Like, it's like the menu design is quite ugly. Like some of the just like basic like panning the camera around, interacting with units maybe doesn't feel quite as crisp as you would like. Like it definitely feels early and like there's a lot of room for polish, but like the core gameplay is like really solid so far. Some of the stuff that is, Vinny, I think you played AoE.
Yeah, I like AoE.
Like some of the stuff in this that was not in Warcraft games that feels new to me is like individual units level up, like even just your basic footman.
Oh, like veterancy?
Like each unit you have has like a kill counter and they'll hit level 2, level 3.
Oh, is that an AoE thing?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just guessing because I saw like one of the reviews was like, oh, this is like a mashup of Warcraft and Age of Empires.
Okay.
So I don't know. It could be new. It could just be a thing for this. I'm sure.
I mean, that's definitely been in RTS games before.
Yeah, definitely. The other one is like putting units in buildings, like occupying buildings with units is very big here.
Garrison.
So you can like, there's an upgrade to garrison your peons into the town hall so they can shoot arrows in a really basic way. Or there's like towers all over the map. You can like neutral towers you can take. And
that never made it into a Warcraft?
I mean, there are barracks units, but it was like, it was more of a specific, here's your defensive structure that can take.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
That can take, versus here, a lot of like the barracks, you can put people in a barracks, which is like your unit producing building, but you can also garrison into them. Like it's much more generalized here than it is in the Blizzard games.
Like Company of Heroes was a big put people in the buildings to shoot out the window.
It feels more like that here.
Yeah, and then you could have units go in and then blow up the building.
Right. So it's
smoke them out.
Yeah, it's kind of mashing up multiple RTS concepts. The other thing, and all this is customizable because again, it's just like skirmish mode right now, so you can turn the stuff off. But the default mode is there's a day-night cycle, and at night, like zombies and wolves and shit show up to your base to attack at night. Mm-hmm. But you're also fighting other AI factions at the same time.
Okay.
So like you're having to defend yourself at night from just neutral creeps basically that roam around, but then you're also fighting an AI out there that's expanding and doing all the same shit you're doing.
Always, even if you choose 1v1, you're gonna have this AI on the map.
There'll always be another AI player. I mean, it's got multiplayer online as well.
Do you know? I was looking at it a little bit. Is there like a campaign mode versus a skirmish mode?
No, this is it. Like
and this is where you get the hero units.
So that's totally separate. There's also a hero units mode in this that is actually really, it's weird because it completely takes all control of the base building away from you.
Weird.
In the hero mode, you are just controlling your hero, but there is still a base being built. It's just that the computer is doing it all for you.
Oh, that's very odd. Okay.
Peons are walking around building buildings for you and farming or gathering gold. It produces offensive units on its own. And they follow you. You can issue commands like follow, stop, stuff like that.
This is not an RTS at that point.
No, at that point it is. I mean, like I said, there's still RTS happening around you. You just can't control any of it.
Okay.
So it is generating units for you to.
Okay, sorry. I was a little confused. Sorry, I want to put you back on track to your.
No, so I fired up a hero unit mode match just long enough to see how that worked. I realized it was a very different thing. The AI skirmish only has 2 difficulties, easy and hard right now, and it defaults you to hard, and it like kicked the shit out of me my first match, like just stomped me, which was kind of fun.
Did it rush or did you have
no, it was all like 25 minutes into the match. Okay. But I was trying to expand out onto the map, and like I said, there's a lot of neutral bases, like neutral towers out there to take.
What's the resource?
It's just gold and lumber.
Okay, so you're mining or chopping trees kind of thing?
Yeah.
And by taking neutral bases, can you set up like a mill or a mine there? Like what's the advantage of taking a neutral base?
It's pretty much just all been defensive towers that I've seen so far, but apparently there are shops you can go take. I don't know if you have to take a shop to use it, but you can go buy stuff from shops that are out there, but I haven't found one yet.
How's the unit cap?
I'm not sure. The way it uses food is weird. Like the supply is not like a normal RTS. It's like the supply is more of an upkeep rather than a hard limit. Like in Blizzard games, it would just you'd have 200 supply. A footman is 1 supply. A ballista is 4. It's very easy. This is like an upkeep, like up and down thing. Like you basically just need to be net positive on supply, if that makes sense.
How do you get supply?
You build farms, but you also have to staff the farms with peons.
And so, you build peons out of your town center?
Yeah, so you have to there's a lot of upkeep here. Like there's a lot of constant.
There must be like a hard unit cap, right? It's like 100.
There probably is, but I haven't hit it yet. But again, it's hard to tell because I've gotten up to like 700 something supply or maybe there is no unit limit, no practical one. Maybe as long as you've got enough farms generating food and you're in the green. like you can just keep going. I don't know.
I guess this is a big RTS question for you. Are the units individual units or are they squads of units?
No, they're all individual.
So it's
you're
individual click per unit?
Definitely like microing one footman to the back of the line type stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
How is the I don't know what they call it, the bark when you click on each
Oh my
unit.
God, it's the stupidest fucking thing I have ever heard. And again, like all the voice samples are just like blah, 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 blah.
Are they
and the archers are just a slightly different like blah, 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 blah.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm not approximating here. I mean, it literally sounds like somebody doing exactly that with their mouth. Blah, 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 blah. Every single time you click one of those units, they do that or issue a command.
Oh,
blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's
I'm looking at their roadmap now, and I know you said that maybe some of the UI design seems a little slapdash, but Update 3 does say UI rework.
Great. Okay, perfect. That sounds awesome. It feels like a really strong foundation here.
That's cool.
And I think the demo got a pretty good response. They actually put out like a map editor before the game came out that worked with the demo, if I'm not mistaken. So they've been kind of seeding community already for a little bit. Like it plays really well. I'm like kind of excited about it.
What like on the map, the kind of third faction, the neutral faction, is there any reason to take them out? Like,
just to expand, really? Like they'll frequently the neutral creeps will be blocking like the next gold mine.
And
stuff like that. So it's really just territory control. And usually, like I said, there'll usually be like a tower there to occupy.
Okay.
I don't think those neutral towers can be destroyed like yours can, if I'm not mistaken.
But just strategic position, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Like it just came out like yesterday in early access, so it's pretty early right now, but I'm pretty optimistic about what I'm seeing so far.
I think it's cool that RTS still once in a while just gets a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
You know, if you get something that makes some waves.
Yeah. User reviews are really strong on this, so it seems like it might actually catch. And that day night, like undead attack your base at night thing gives it a little bit of a tower defense-y kind of feel on top of the standard RTS.
So it's knights and orcs?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Did you play both factions or?
I have not tried orcs yet. Okay. I've only played humans.
I guess it's probably worth mentioning if you're trying to visualize this in your head. It does have like a more modern look to it, right? It is not pixel. It is not raster. It is 3D.
It's in fact it's like quite. I'm not gonna say it's like the best looking RTS I've ever seen, but like it seems pretty modern. Like I looked on, I forget where I saw this, somewhere in a trailer or on their Steam page or somewhere I was looking at. They had like a little breakdown of how their dynamic damage on buildings works, stuff like that. You know, so like they've definitely put some effort into making the graphics modern.
This is gonna sound like I'm trying to like a pejorative, and I don't think it is, because I actually think I like the look of this game. It does look like a mobile game. Like a high end mobile game, but I just mean in that kind of modern 3D mobile game with a lot of squished characters. You know what I mean? Like yes.
Let me ask you this: do all mobile games just look like Warcraft?
Or is it just that mobile games, generally speaking, have a graphical vibe that looks like mid-90s PC game?
Like, did World of Warcraft set the standard for what this style for what the like extremely mainstream like Skinner box type of addictive RPG-ish sort of thing look like, and then every fucking mobile game in the world just emulated that?
Are you saying that's how they got us?
It's fucking Blizzard's last laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like
no, they're still laughing.
That and Dota.
Yeah. This seems pretty hardcore. I don't know how much
you're laughing. This is more of a chuckle now, maybe.
Yeah, it didn't strike me that way when I got in there. Like, once you're playing it, it feels very much just like RTS.
Well, you can probably move the camera, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Tilt it and move it. Yeah, so like the videos I'm watching are all fixed, isometric.
Okay.
So it's got that look of just a bunch of, Clash of Clans like characters running around. Clash of Clans? Is that still the mobile game to reference? I don't know.
It's still out there. It's not the game.
Is Clash of Clans even like isometric 3D?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It's more of a strategy game, I think.
But this looks cool. I might check this out.
Yeah,
you think you'll continue in early access with it?
Yes, I definitely want to play at least a couple. I would love to win a match.
Okay.
Like I've got a match against 2 hard AIs going right now. And there's another toggle in there, so like you can turn off that day and night undead tower defense shit. That's in a slot that's just called like game script, I think.
Okay.
And that's the only one in there right now, but that's kind of implying that there will be other game scripts, that there will be other like
modes or
mechanic layers that you can enable on top of a match, which actually sounds super exciting because this game is very moddable.
Okay.
But God, I forgot why I brought that up. What was the other thing another slot in the skirmish setup, in addition to game script, is AI units can ally. Meaning, and so I've got it set to only when they're losing. So
that's fun.
So I'm fighting 2 other AIs right now, and they start out opposed to everybody's against everybody. But if I start winning a lot, which is not likely from the looks of things, but if you start winning a lot, then the 2 AIs could team up against you and stop fighting each other. Fun. Yeah, like it's some really neat ideas for making the match more dynamic.
You may have mentioned this earlier, but is multiplayer in this early access?
Yeah, there is. I could not find a lobby running at the moment. So but
one of their updates in Update 3, along with the UI rework, is dedicated multiplayer servers. So maybe they're, I guess they're doing hosted multiplayer servers at this points, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
So maybe the lobbies are weird. I don't know. I'd be curious to see if like what the multiplayer setups wind up being in terms of like, hey, it's 2v2 or 2v2v AI or the neutral factions and all that stuff.
I think it's all peer-to-peer right now, but it's all very early. But this seems like a really strong foundation. I'm pretty stoked about it.
That's cool. That is the Scouring.
The developer is called Orc Group.
Good job, Orc Group. Does Orc Group have anything else?
I think it's their first game. Okay. Sounds like I don't. It wasn't a single developer, but it sounds like the engine. It's a custom engine that was built by one programmer. So
cool.
Pretty small. Can I just read the first line of the Steam description?
Please do.
Please.
The Scouring is an RTS with fast pace, high attention to detail, and next generation experience.
Great. Great. Do you know where this developer is based?
I love to have a next generation experience.
Mm-hmm.
I do not.
Okay. Play alone or with friends. There it is right there. Join the Scouring. That is going to do it, I think, for the games. Oh, you know what? That's not going to do it for the games. I will put an end on the my talk of Donkey Kong Bananza. I did get to I don't think I mentioned this last time, but I got to the second set of credits, which is funny because it just feels like the credits again with the reverse cinematic showing. I think that game, I've said it last time as I was nearing the end, gets better as you go along. I think the end challenges are some of the best content in that game. And it makes some sense if you think about them combining all of the mechanics to make the most interesting creative levels at the end that you couldn't necessarily do until you had collected everything, and putting the challenge level, the higher challenge level, a bit after is a very Nintendo-ish thing to do, because I think they want a smooth ride for people during the main content. But
so you do get literal credits again?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then and again, this is just by beating all those post-game levels? Because
there's a whole mission thread post-game that you can finish up.
I see. At first I was hoping this meant that you had beaten the Inception, like start over within the game thing from last week.
No. This is more of like another quest, epilogue quest you get that basically gives you these big challenge levels that you wind up going in, really hone in on some of the abilities, and then kind of combine all of those into some more challenging levels that I found maybe to be the most enjoyable of the game. I think the finale, even though it is an epilogue, the finale of all that is a bit of a wet fart at the very, very end, where you're just kind of like, oh, okay, like,
we're done
yeah,
here.
sure. And you're just like, instead of any more story stuff after the epilogue, you just kind of get a picture, like a still, and you're like, oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, because that last level was a little hard, you know.
Is there anything in this game on the level of the wedding from the end of Odyssey in terms of just straight up fucking pizzazz? Because I remember that wedding being like extremely well put together from just a presentation standpoint.
I think there are things that they go all out on that are maybe not in the spirit of what you're talking about, but if you're talking about things like destructibility and collecting gold, where sometimes they just say, fuck it. When they just like are like, break it, go for it. Like the whole thing is broken, which isn't necessarily the wedding in the production overkill vibe where you have all the characters there.
Because I mean, if anything, I would say the wedding is like kind of the opposite of that, where it's like tightly scripted and like very much funneling you through one intended experience. And in this game, this is just a very different type of game, right?
I mean, there are some cute sequences, but nothing quite like that. This is more of the sandbox just spills over kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense for this game.
Yeah, and that's fun. It's a lot of fun. That part where they realize that you have probably reached the point where you give zero shits about anything, and they're like, neither do we. Just go ahead. I kind of enjoy that part. Like I said, the abilities you wind up getting, the economy being completely broken, all feels like in service of having a good time with that game. So, thumbs up from me, banana. And with that,
banana.
Oh, banana. Like if you're playing that game and again, if you're waffling a bit, I would say maybe just get towards the end and start having a little bit, what I think is a little more challenge and fun as you move on. I died a bunch. I didn't die like hardly at all during that main part. I died a lot. I almost ran out of gold.
Oh, damn.
I know.
I didn't know you could do that.
Almost. I just had to take 5 seconds to get like 20,000 gold again. But I spent a lot of gold. Things start costing a lot of gold.
Gotcha.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, Switch 2, out now.
Switch 2 is out now.
Switch 2 is out now and available.
Like extremely out now.
Yeah. You could probably even find a copy of Donkey Kong 2 out there.
They're just kind of everywhere.
On a games cart.
Now.
Yeah, in stores now. That's going to do it for the games. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with the news. Stick around. All right, we are back. Now, we have talked before about what is going on with Microsoft and BDS and Microsoft's documented involvement in the ongoing war and genocide happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
Alex, it sounds like some people inside Xbox Game Studios are starting to vocalize.
Well, in this case, there is one specific chunk of the labor force here that we are talking about, which is employees at Arkane's France studio. These are the unionized employees, specifically under the banner of STJV, which I believe is a multi-studio, French-focused independent union, as far as I'm aware. So I don't know everything about this particular union. I don't know exactly what portion of employees at Arkane they represent, but my understanding is it's at least a significant portion.
Yeah, and these would be employees working on Blade, right? Although actually... They would have to be because Arkane Austin doesn't exist anymore. So this is Arkane now.
Yeah. So this news is coming on the heels of a report that came out, I believe, at the tail end of last week, specifically in The Guardian, in conjunction with 972 Magazine and Local Call, which is a Hebrew language outlet. And that report in particular is very hyper-focused on the specifics of what exactly Microsoft's involvement with the Israeli government and its military apparatus are in conjunction with their Azure cloud platform. They have talked a lot of, let's just say, game about the fact that, they have done internal investigations, tried to hand-wave away as much responsibility as they could, saying that they found no specific instances of where, Israel's Microsoft's has. Yeah. They have found no specific uses of Israel using the Azure cloud platform for specific military targets and strikes, which is the thing they are citing as would be a violation of their terms of use of their platform. This report kind of pokes a lot of holes in that and very specifically says that Satya Nadella in particular had in fact met with people from this Unit 8200, which is, as this article frames it, more or less the NSA equivalent within Israel. And specifically, Microsoft has gone to great lengths to give them their own siloed off chunk of the Azure cloud platform with additional security, which they are essentially using to monitor, the way this report makes it sound, basically every bit of phone traffic going in and out of Gaza.
Yeah, it's basically a mass surveillance operation. Specifically, it sounds like they are literally recording and storing the phone conversations of effectively the entire Palestinian population.
Basically millions of calls every day,
it sounds like, as opposed to traditional wiretapping where there's somebody just sitting there listening in, they are actually like storing all these recordings for some period of time, which is probably an insane amount of storage requirement.
without just recapping that entire article, you should definitely go read it if you were interested in the specifics of like how this Microsoft stuff comes into play. But the basic gist seems to be that whatever hand waving they have done about their particular involvement or knowledge as far as how Israel is using this cloud platform and what they are using this data for, it seems like it kind of runs contra to what Microsoft had said their internal investigation brought to bear. But so as far as Arkane is concerned and this union statement, basically what this is the employees that are under this union coming out and giving a joint statement saying in an open letter, effectively asking Microsoft to completely divest themselves, much as BDS has requested, from their involvement in the in the Israeli military operations, and also do a much more rigorous investigation about what exactly this, the platform has been used for and where this technology has been applied.
Yeah, it's probably also just worth pointing out that though we haven't really seen too much within the games units of Xbox and Microsoft, there has been the no apartheid for Azure movement.
Yes, there have been individual and small pockets of employees,
yeah,
people that have been pushing for this, but it just has not come to
and not
a
even
boil.
that's, I mean, maybe relatively small for Microsoft, but thousands of people who have signed petitions. That
I'm talking about in their overall, compared to their overall employee structure.
Yeah, I always got the sense that was primarily in the, like, I don't know what you want to call it, Microsoft proper, more software development, like the main chunk of their business, not a lot of speaking out inside of Xbox so far until now.
And it would make sense to me that maybe the more protected employees feel comfortable, signing a petition. If you are in a stronger position where you have better unions or protected employment status, that you might feel better.
Clearly, Xbox's fortunes have not been sound in the last few months, irrespective of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and generally, I think It is incredibly fucking dire right now, right? Like it is.
Yeah.
It is rough, and there are places outside of the United States that I think are recognizing that more than inside the United States for some of Xbox's studios.
Yeah. But, as we've been talking through this stuff and as it sort of has been coming up, there's been, I think, a lot of sort of, a discomfort with the idea of trying to tie the Xbox division to the larger Microsoft, because it's not like these game studios people are directly involved in any of this specific stuff. But I think this statement from the union makes a very clear distinction that, like, yes, we might not be specifically part of what they are doing here, but we are still under this umbrella, and this still has an impact on us and our ability to do business. And so the quote here, "We think that Microsoft has no place being accomplice of a genocide, and as Microsoft employees, we don't want to be part of this sinister project for Gaza. Moreover, we think it's our responsibility as tech workers to raise the alarm and to ensure that our technologies are used to make the voices of the oppressed heard and not facilitate their demise. In a more direct manner, we think this could very well affect our life directly by reducing the audience for our games, thus directly compromising the viability of Xbox games and, in the long run, our very own jobs."
And I'll even just go on. They have some more statements that really just call out Microsoft for its own commitment to human rights, stated commitments to human rights, and maybe some of the hypocrisy that has been reported. And I think, like you just mentioned, Alex, the reporting from The Guardian and other sources that say some of this stuff is extremely hard to hand wave away with their internal reporting.
So, yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen whether this creates, more of a groundswell of desire to speak out within, Microsoft's various games groups. Again, like you said, having the unionization protection does give them a little bit more of a bulwark in terms of like retribution, from the parent company. But, there's still risk inherently involved in speaking out on these kinds of things. And it is my sincere hope that maybe, one or two of these studios starting to get out there and do this more might create more of a movement within the company.
I'm sure there are other people within Microsoft and even in Xbox games that maybe don't feel comfortable signing a letter like this, a public letter.
Yeah.
Well, take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll continue with the news.
Okay.
Less ongoing human crisis, Microsoft news, but they also had a cancellation. Yeah,
I mean, as usual, this feels like pedestrian, bordering on trivial to talk about in the wake of a story like that, although there are probably jobs affected here as well.
Well,
Yes.
I think the bigger thing here is that we were talking about what generally the Xbox Games Division's fortunes have been recently and the sort of trends toward, let's just say, excising a lot of projects that maybe are not doing super well behind the scenes. This seems like another result of that.
Yeah. Yes. Stephen Totillo of GameFile, formerly of a bunch of other places, Kotaku, MTV News, etc. He has broken the story that Contraband has been canceled by Xbox or put on hold or whatever you want to call it. And it sounds like that game stopped active development is the wording he uses here.
I had forgotten this existed.
Yes.
Same.
Now you would be forgiven if you had to go remind yourself what Contraband was, as I had to do.
It was the This Is Vegas of this generation.
It's because it was only ever revealed with a cinematic trailer, and then no other media was ever put out about the game. But it was being made by Avalanche, the Just Cause developer. If you go back and watch that trailer, you might remember it. I mean, it was the E3 2021 Xbox showcase where this was run. This is over 4 years ago now.
I did vaguely remember that it's like a 3D camera moving around a 3D space with people frozen in time.
Yes.
With in like a garage.
Yes. And the game's logo is like a bunch of like gold bars in a crate.
Yeah.
Because the game was, as Totillo puts it in this story, an open world co-op game set in the fictional 1970s smuggler's paradise of Bayonne. So sounds like it was going to be some kind of heisty smuggler, perhaps a live serve. I don't know. Open world co-op, maybe not live service, but that style of game, it sounds like.
Certainly sounds like the kind of thing that would have been in the wheelhouse of Avalanche.
Anyway, I don't think it's clear from this story if this game was axed along with all the others when the giant production happened a few weeks ago, or if this is more recent. But in any event, it is no longer in current development.
I mean, what it sounds like to me is that this reevaluation of all projects seems like it is ongoing. Whether or not that was, they found out about this a while ago and then the news just got out there or what, like it seems like they are still going through the books right now and just looking at every project that is either being funded or developed internally and deciding, is this where we want to keep going or not?
Yeah.
Well, I would just add, while in the context of that, I think it's probably worth remembering or being informed or realizing that I think in this story that you had linked here, Brad, they even mention it, that their Xbox gaming division's profits are still there. They're not losing
making money.
They're making money. And I think they report in this story that they just last week or ish, they're around 10%, right? Like they were up 10%. They're 5.5 billion for April through June, right? Like that, like they are, there have been so many stories of layoffs. There have been so many stories of studio closures. And in an environment where you're talking about profits of $5.5 billion, right? Up 10% year over year. Just adds a little bit of context, I think, maybe for moving through.
Well, I mean, look, again, I think the big thing here is that not that they are hemorrhaging money and therefore just trying to, get rid of everything that feels like it is, good money after bad. I think the bigger thing is that they are bracing for something. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be the same thing that every video game company is bracing for right now, which feels like some massive bottom dropping out that hasn't even happened yet. Like feels like a lot of people are hedging bets right now.
I mean, everybody's very skittish about the economy with all the tariff chaos and like jobs, inflation numbers and jobs numbers are not good right now. Like I think everybody is just kind of like battening down the hatches for
like girding
whatever choppy waters are ahead.
Do you think we're still in some of the vapor trail or the wake of the consolidating from the early 2020s of the kind of massive expansion during COVID?
I think we saw the bulk of what was specifically tied to that stuff, like the Embracer buyouts and some of the other acquisitions that came around that time. I think this is bracing for something else entirely. This has less to do with money that was spent 4 or 5 years ago and more to do with the fact that nobody seems to have any idea what the long-term outlook for video games is right now.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like a 1-2 punch of the, 6 games are taking all the revenue and the economy is looking shaky and everybody's been expecting a recession for 6 months.
Like this is not directly tied to this, but I did read a survey this past week that said that gaming purchases for people in the 18 to 24 demographic is way down.
Yeah. Spending
way
is down.
down.
And what do we think tied to like Microsoft's reporting on hardware sales and the kind of the their place in the as one of the big three, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in let's say 2030, you know, like them kind of realizing a plan for what their role is.
I think the current Xbox platforms are all but moribund at this point. If that's if you're talking about current hardware, I mean, they're going to obviously bank everything on their next generation handheld console combo.
Yeah,
thing.
That's intense.
Yeah,
that's like an intense prospect. I mean, I would have guessed even by this point they would have had a more mature virtualized environment for playing games, since that we had heard so much about that and where the kind of current state of the Series X felt. But it feels like I haven't heard too much about that. You know, when I say virtualized, I mean more like streaming and kind of a more robust offering there. I'm very curious to see what happens. Obviously, any kind of wibbles and wobbles are radiated out so much more now that the mass consolidation of these studios is tremendous. You know, it's like one of those things where a minor shiver becomes a giant quake because there's so many studios affected by this internally. But there are not necessarily any big layoffs associated with this announcement, right?
Not yet. I mean, again, what Avalanche has basically said, they have stopped active development, but I have to imagine that if they don't resume active development on it, there are probably people from those teams that will suffer as a result.
Yeah, I mean, they're still independent as far as I remember.
Yeah, they aren't owned by any particular platform.
Or actually, or they're owned by Nordisk Film, which is a Danish entertainment company.
Okay.
Apparently, but they're not owned by Microsoft is the point. Like Microsoft would not be in a position to dictate layoffs there. That's just in this case, a decision for their parent company, for the company that is their parent.
No, I meant more just in terms of the deal going through.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, this is a game that Microsoft was publishing. Yeah. Like, this is that they were funding it, and it sounds like the main thing is that they pulled the funding.
Yeah, I mean, my question with the Romero Games,
Romero Games, yeah.
Romero Games is the name of it. Like some of these third-party projects that Microsoft pulled funding for. I mean, like the Avalanche statement says, development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future. Like,
right.
I wonder if there's potential for another publishing partner to come in and pick the project up. I guess it's possible.
I mean, I think in any case that could be possible. I think the thing that's a little concerning for me about this one in particular, though, is that since that trailer, we have heard zero about it.
This one, and especially if it's a live service game or was planned to be, like, especially if that's the case, I don't think there's necessarily a lot of hope for it to get rescued. Like the Romero one, maybe.
Yeah. This feels like a situation where they announced an idea too early and they just didn't have enough of a game there.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe it was of a type that the tea leaves are not predicting, or it's
sure.
Maybe their team extraction shooter wouldn't have panned out. Well, let's move out of the Microsoft block.
Okay,
but not necessarily into more.
Oh, we're not giving you any good news yet.
Waters. Yeah, no, definitely not. Bithell Games. A studio that I was never sure how big they were. They seem to sometimes get bigger projects like that John Wick project, but again, never like massive games.
No, like sometimes bigger licenses, but the scale of the things they make is at a very specific level.
Yeah.
Like Brad, interesting stuff though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always interesting, and always interesting in terms of the type of game,
like they made John Wick into a tactics or strategy game,
Mm-hmm.
It's a good fit.
Like even when they would get their hands on a license, they would do something slightly offbeat with it.
And they had Tron Catalyst,
which is
more
pretty
recently.
Good. Yeah. I played a little of it; seemed pretty all right.
But Brad, Bithell Games in the news, not for a heralded announcement.
No, it's been cut down to the bone. Like if anything, it sounds like it's probably just Bithell now. Sounds like they've been forced to cut all of their full time. Well,
the vast majority, at least.
Yeah, 11 jobs are being made redundant. This constitutes the majority of our full-time staff, so there could be a couple of other people still there, but this is after having been unable to secure a new larger-scale project. is how they put it. I mean, it's just the same thing you've heard 100 times now of like there's no funding out there.
Yeah.
And
in some
like
cases, funding that was there is no longer there.
Studios like this that live hand to mouth if they can't get a new project going as soon as their last project has concluded, unless their last project made $1 billion, then they are not going to be able to keep paying people.
Right.
Yeah. So like you said, I think that is the majority of their core staff. I think the announcement goes on to say, and I'll just echo it here, if you are a developer in need of talent, to reach out. Obviously that group feels very strongly about their comrades and want them to get hired. So just put that out here. I don't know the developer resources at this time. I have heard that for better or worse, and I only say for worse because it seems like there's a big need for it. The groups are out there to, try and help people find jobs, whether that's effective or not. I'm not in that world. So
yeah, sounds like they were able to plan ahead for this a little bit and provide some severance at least. But that's yet another small, interesting indie developer that is not going to be making another game anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless, maybe something comes through and they're able to turn it around. But yeah, it just sounds like that ground is tough to work right now.
Yeah. Before we just move out of this block real quick, I just want to give a shout out to our friends at IGN, many of which have suffered layoffs this past couple of weeks as well. My editor on my one review there at IGN when I reviewed a movie for them, Amelia was one of them. A number of other people that have been at IGN a good long time were also laid off amid all of this. So shout outs to all of them. May you find work quickly.
Yeah, man. All right. Take another.
Please take the longest pause you can before we shift here.
I'll just. I'm gonna just float around for a second here because the next set of news is not. This isn't all dire.
No.
We really started off on.
We're trying here to not make it all dire.
But coming back around, in a sense that maybe not all things are permanent. Now this too we shall move on to, and things come and go, and the wheel of time is a really weird, funky, cyclical thing. RedOctane is back in the news.
Of all the companies.
A RedOctane is
the name RedOctane has resurfaced.
Yeah. Which I've said this twice on a podcast this week now. Do they own the name? They must.
Alex, as our closest thing to a RedOctane expert that we could, as the closest thing to a rhythm game, somebody who worked at Harmonix is basically what I'm saying. Somebody who is associated with rhythm games by way of Harmonix to Guitar Hero to RedOctane. What's going on here?
So, what's going on here?
All right, guys, let me start you off a little easier.
Okay.
Ready? Can you describe what RedOctane was?
RedOctane was a company that made Guitar Hero. Now, the specific way they made Guitar Hero is that they partnered with Harmonix. They were the hardware makers. They were the ones that got the original plastic guitars going, while Harmonix developed the original Guitar Hero software.
Yeah, they were an accessory maker before Guitar Hero.
Yes,
like they made other controllers and dance mats.
Mad Cats of
they were kind of in that wheelhouse of a third party video game accessory maker.
Yeah,
and so for folks that everybody listening to this probably knows, but it's an interesting story, right? At some point, Harmonix makes Rock Band. Activision has Guitar Hero, right?
Yes.
Where does RedOctane fit in all of that?
So RedOctane got bought by Activision, and then Harmonix went to MTV Games, and so along with them, Guitar Hero went to Activision. And so when I'm trying to remember the exact lineage, because Neversoft was always tasked with being the developers of Guitar Hero after Guitar Hero 2. After
for a
Harmonix was gone.
while. Didn't that? I think that yes, for a while. I think didn't that then move to Vicarious Visions later?
So Vicarious Visions did a couple of them. I think they did like Guitar Hero Van Halen and stuff, but the principal development of Guitar Hero was done at Neversoft basically until Neversoft stopped being a concern, I think.
Oh, is that like a Call of Duty Sledgehammer?
Yeah, it looks like they were both. both contributing to it.
And then there was another studio that was making like DJ Hero stuff as well.
I mean, that was, that's the Activision MO, is kind of get everybody working on everything just to churn product out as fast as possible.
Annualize.
Yeah. So, all of that said, RedOctane ceased to be a functioning thing somewhere midway through the Guitar Hero lifespan. They stopped using the name for the most part. And I think some of the people that worked at original RedOctane maybe moved over to Neversoft or other studios, but by and large, it was not really a going concern for a long time.
Yeah, but we should say very definitively, like, there is no Guitar Hero without RedOctane. Like
100%.
They were the, I don't know who came to whom with the idea back in the day, but like as somebody covering video game products at that time, like RedOctane was the one running all the promotion for Guitar Hero. Like Harmonix made the software, but RedOctane made the hardware, and they were the ones booking meetings and showing at E3 and stuff like that. I mean, Harmonix was very involved in that too, but like they were right there at the beginning of the modern like Rock Band style rhythm game boom.
Yeah. So now, I mentioned on the Ramblecast this week, I've been messing around with some of the bootleg rhythm games out there, including one of them being Yarg, yet another rhythm game, which was an open source fan project that used some of the assets from Rock Band, like the chart, like note gems and things like that. But it's very similar to Clone Hero in the way that it just sort of uses custom tracks. So the video went out last week, apparently, that some of the developers of that have gone on to this new RedOctane, a new studio that is being headed up by the guy who was the director of production on basically every Guitar Hero game from 3 until they stopped making them. I think live, maybe he didn't work on Live, but he worked on all the other ones. And the Huang brothers, who were like the co-founders of original RedOctane, are on the advisory board for this new thing.
What are they going to do?
I have no fucking idea.
What are they stating they're going to do?
All they're saying is that they have a new rhythm project. And if you figure it is ex-Guitar Hero rhythm game people, they are pulling in people from Yarg. I have to imagine it is some kind of band-related thing. Now, whether it is a thing that is going to make new instruments or is something that is designed to work with stuff that people already have, there are people that are out there making new boutique, like Xbox and PlayStation compatible guitar controllers nowadays. There's that Riffmaster. There's another one I think that is coming out sometime soon. So there is some demand for this stuff. I don't know how wide it is, but I mean, those controllers have been selling.
I know people buying a lot of songs for Fortnite Festival.
There you go. And I think that what they are probably talking about here is something that is at least pivoting off some of what they were talking about doing for Yarg. I don't know what context that would be. I don't know how exhaustive it's going to be. I don't know what the design of this thing is going to be. I don't know if they're going to use a lot of licensed music or they're going to expect people to provide their own. None of this information is out there. They are making a rhythm game. That's all we know.
Do you think you'll get a new full drum kit at some point?
Man, I don't know. And I
think you get a new drum brain, like a new, what's the thing that...
Oh, the adapter?
Yeah.
The thing that costs like $1,000 if you try to buy it aftermarket now? Maybe, but I think the bigger thing they are probably trying to square right now is, even if we think there's more demand for this kind of thing now than, let's just say, when the fad died, you're talking about a very weird environment to be making big plastic goods right now and shipping them to multiple territories. Like, I'm not sure you could pick a weirder time to be doing something like that. So I have to imagine if they are talking about hardware, either they have a plan for how they're going to get around that stuff, or they're going to try and minimize it as much as possible so that people are buying the game, maybe some devices, but they are not having to buy a lot of plastic instruments. But that's my guess. That's just a guess.
Yeah. I guess we should say this company is called RedOctane Games, not just RedOctane. If you are RedOctane Games, I imagine you are watching the current shipping environment, tariff environment very closely and seeing where you might want to plant a factory for plastic products if that is your intended manufacturing goal. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. We don't get too much in the plastic instrument rhythm game sector these days.
No. But again, these boutique controllers seem like they are doing well in the batches they are being sold in. People still probably are playing, I mean, Rock Band just ceased doing DLC 2 years ago. So, like, I think that they're maybe with a little bit of a lull here and nobody really actively developing in the major game spaces, maybe they see an opportunity to like try it and see what happens. And I think they should. I feel for them trying to do it now.
Yeah. What is Harmonix right now?
An Epic company.
It's just an Epic subsidiary making Fortnite Festival.
The Fortnite Festival
stuff? Maybe other stuff that I don't know for sure, but
yeah, they might be doing some other wet work shit behind the scenes, but as far as we know, they are there for Fortnite Festival, and that is it.
But the only reason I really ask is like, if anybody, I mean, I guess it's Microsoft would have Guitar Hero and Epic would have the Harmonix folks. Do they have Rock Band?
So Rock Band does belong to Harmonix, as far as I know. Because I don't think they would have been able to release Rock Band 4 because if MTV Games still owned that or anything like that. So I think they still own the name.
So the reason I bring that up is like, look, maybe there's a world where RedOctane is working in conjunction with somebody like Epic to make some instruments for that Fortnite Festival stuff, compatible with some of those things. I just, it's so hard for me to think of a full-throated licensed song music game coming out in the next 2 years or 3 years. We just haven't had it.
No, we haven't. But I also think that's a really tough pitch to make to Epic because they were there when they finally made Harmonix turn off the DLC faucet. Like they were around for the trailing off of that rhythm game. And they were probably the ones that said, like, you are not making enough money on this to keep doing it. You should stop doing it.
The plastic instrument wars are back. Let's do it.
At best, I think we're maybe have a skirmish coming our way, and that's about it.
I mean, if RedOctane's the only player.
Yeah.
Look, I think it would be cool, personally, if they just had a place to supplement the secondary market with some instruments that are compatible
or some adapters or things that would just make the stuff you already own or can get access to like viable.
Yeah, they are making a game that is confirmed.
Yes,
they've apparently been working on it for several months now.
But did they say how big it is?
No, just as a rhythm game, and they were talking about like paying tribute to the past and also looking to the future, and that is it.
First rhythm game is expected to be announced later this year, having been in pre-production for the last few months.
All right,
I'm hopeful. And I'm interested in what they're doing. Remains to be seen.
Godspeed to them, or
yes,
whatever.
Yeah,
that's a big we'll see. I feel like
it's a big
we'll see. My eyes, they are affixed. I want to see what you're doing.
All right, let's move on to the Nintendo news. Brad, you have talked previously about the Switch 2, its sales, the numbers, the head start it got.
Yeah, kind of a little constellation of stories and social media posts and stuff that kind of feel like it's painting a picture of what development resources on the ground for Switch 2 look like still. Do you remember a few months ago when there was a story that came out that Nintendo was going to be extremely conservative about giving out dev kits to developers?
Yeah, yes.
We talked about this. This was probably March, I'm guessing. It was way before Switch 2 launch. It was one of the might have been Insider. I forget which outlet it was that specializes in leaks and rumors.
Yeah.
Basically, it was just like, as of June launch, like next to no developers are going to have dev kits for Switch 2. Like they're going to be pretty judicious about trickling those out.
Yeah.
It seems like with information that is still trickling out to this day, that is still the case, which seems kind of crazy for a system with so few games on it. But here we are.
Or so at least so few exclusive games. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So like this Nintendo had this Indie World showcase recently. They dropped UFO 50 out of nowhere, or not they did, but Mossmouth, I guess, dropped UFO 50 like day of during the stream. But UFO 50 is a Switch 1 game. Like if you go to eShop and look at the platforms, it is a Switch 1 game that presumably I think would run on a Switch 2 as far as I know. They talked about a bunch of other games on that stream. I didn't go through and look. I didn't pull up the eShop page for every one of them, but I think most of them are probably going to be Switch 1 releases. Mina the Hollower is a Switch 2 game.
Yep.
Which is the next Yacht Club release. Shovel Knight makers, anybody?
Yep. Yeah, no, I played the demo that on the Steam Next Fest,
which is actually kind of interesting to see that they are making that a Switch 2 exclusive game. Anyway, none of this really stood out at me until I just happened to be scrolling Blue Sky a day or two after this and happened to come across this random exchange that Zolivir Nelson from Strange Scaffold had with somebody, where he was, what game was he posting about? They have so many. It was TMNT Tactical Takedown. The console release of that is happening. That's coming out on Switch today, actually, as of the posting of this podcast. Somebody responded to him saying, "Do you know if it's going to be Switch 2 compatible?" His response, "From everything that we know, not having a dev kit, it will be Switch 2 compatible."
Hell of a response. "And
we purposefully built the game so that it can run a bit better when on new hardware." And then in a response to somebody else responding to that post saying, "Wait, do you not have a dev kit yet?" he said, "Most people don't have them."
Yeah.
And then I think it was a few days after that, yes, it was a few days after that, a developer that I was not familiar with called Lynxbite Games, which, looking at their website, I think they probably are, at least to a degree, like a porting house, like a support developer who maybe takes contractual work to help other studios get games out on different platforms and stuff. That was just based on my quick glance at their site. They have gone into some detail, and this is not, I haven't seen this corroborated anywhere else yet, but they've gone into some detail saying that Nintendo is basically gating access to Switch 2 dev kits based on what you want to do with them, which probably is not unusual on its face, but it sounds like they are being extremely picky about, they want you to be taking advantage of a bunch of Switch 2 features before they will necessarily approve your access to dev kits. Some of the examples they threw out are 4K support at 60 frames a second or 120 frames a second at 1440p, game chat, mouse controls, game share, HD Rumble 2.
All the hits.
So it sounds like not like just wanting to port your existing game to Switch 2 with no platform specific frills might not necessarily be enough to get them to agree to provide you with development hardware as of now.
Do you think, Brad, that the development hardware is limited, or do you think they are trying to actually force more Switch 2 unique games onto the system?
Well, probably the latter. Almost certainly the latter. I cannot imagine.
Or incentivize, I guess.
Yes. It's hard for me to believe that they are actually like supply constrained on this stuff, especially as Switch 2 units seem to be existing on shelves more and more now. So
yeah, I mean, we're gonna transition into the Switch 2 at some point, right? Like, I guess that is a bigger story, also, right? Of,
I'd say that's in process at this point.
Of the install base of the Switch, lead the Switch 2 god, and then the tail is an ongoing story. So what that transition from the Switch to Switch 2 exclusive game being going forward is an ongoing tale. Nintendo certainly will be putting out Switch 2 only games in the future here. Will third parties forego the Switch and its massive install base to just put a Switch 2 game out?
Yeah, like maybe that's what Nintendo is banking on here, that they just assume every indie developer is going to want to keep developing against the Switch 1 for a while to come because there are so goddamn many Switches out there.
So many. You'd really have to get some kind of support, I think, or maybe this is what Nintendo feels like, some kind of angle if you're not doing that.
Maybe this maybe in Nintendo's mind, this is necessary to build up an install base for the Switch 2, is that you need games that are showing what the Switch 2 can do.
Yeah,
which I guess there is maybe some logic to that.
But again, I'm not a developer. I have no idea, some idea, but no real idea of how it is to optimize for from a Switch 1 to a Switch 2. That's a little bit of insight there about not having a dev kit and just kind of planning for it.
I think the one anecdotal thing you can maybe point to, and again, this is just an anecdotal thing, but like in a couple of cases where some games have, when the Switch 2 launched and the game did not work right or had problems, it seems like at least a couple of them got patched pretty quickly. So it seems like whatever roadblocks you might run into getting your game on Switch 1 to work on Switch 2, there aren't necessarily like multitudinous or complicated. It's just that you have to do that work, and not having access to those dev kits probably makes that a lot harder.
Probably not easy, although, I mean, most developers know their games well enough that I'm sure they can at least try to, like, guess at what to do, or, you know, they generally have enough information about the Switch 2 to hopefully make things work at a basic level. But, I mean, just again, for a console with almost no exclusive games right now, this maybe seems like a risky strategy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's a launch where Nintendo has a record now of not wanting to have a Wii U, right? Like they do not want to be in a Wii U situation. They want the Switch 2 to be a console that is separated from the Switch in enough of a way to sell units to make it a stable, huge platform like the Switch,
right?
And not wind up in a situation that's like, well, I would just play it on the Switch. Right? You have a Switch already. I'll just play this game on the Switch. So I don't know. That Donkey Kong game is very good.
Yeah. I look forward to more good games like Donkey Kong in the future.
From third parties, maybe.
Right. Like they're just putting more burden on themselves to keep supplying good first-party games, the less dev hardware is out there for other people to be making. Of course, I mean, how many Switch exclusive games were there made by third parties?
Yeah, third party.
Not very many.
Like maybe more in the JRPG realm.
Yeah,
than I realize that I don't follow as much. All right. That's pretty much it for the news then. Hey, one quick little tidbit of news. We didn't talk about it yet. I know we had a couple of bummers here, and I'm not trying to say that this is on par with any of them, but AOL dial-up service is going away.
Yep, sure is.
Get out of those chat rooms, kids.
No more phone lines.
I don't know what an AOL service looks like. I know some people still have AOL accounts.
My mother still uses AOL email.
Does it still work as a portal? Can you still?
It's still a portal, but
I mean, it's not the service it used to be. No.
Yeah,
if you're asking, is it what it was in the 90s? Absolutely not.
No.
Is AOL a middleman between your connection somewhere?
No.
Okay.
Like there are no rooms anymore.
Yeah.
Or AOL keywords. Gone.
Do you think if you were still dialing up, it is just like a really dumb little client you use and then dial into, and it's
that I don't know. Yes, that I would actually. In fact, that goes for any dial-up internet provider in this day and age. I would love to know what the setup looks like for those things.
Yeah, like is it just like a little app that sits in the system tray at that point, and then
I would guess most of them are using their own dialers.
Yeah, but it's not like the big full page AOL.
No.
Welcome.
No, you're absolutely not in a client like that anymore, accessing the internet.
All right.
AOL is technically still part of Yahoo, isn't it now?
I can't remember where they've ended up.
I think so. At some point, someone owned Yahoo. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Verizon, and then they sold it.
They merged with Time Warner. Remember, it was, but they were the big dog in that merger. Remember?
Or no, I'm talking about recently.
Yeah. I'm talking just back in the day. Remember, AOL Time Warner. They came first in that transaction.
Vivid recollections of that whole thing.
But yes, they are now owned by Yahoo.
Okay, and then Yahoo, I think, got bought by some like global capital firm or something.
Can't remember.
Because at one point, I think Verizon had them, and then they got sold.
Yes, Yahoo is 90% owned by Apollo Global Management.
You think it's so hard to see from inside, and I know this is getting a little bit more into global economic politics and politics.
Something I'm well versed in. Yes, let's do it.
But the thing that we are versed in is we live through a titanic shift in the big players in the digital space.
Several.
And there were those shifts in non-digital spaces prior to us, the IBMs of the world and the whatever oil magnates and the U.S. Steel and whatever else happened. You think they have secured, the corporations have secured enough of the levers to prevent another topsy-turvy? Like, will you see Google unseated in our lifetime in a way that Yahoo kind of was bought and sold and picked apart?
I mean, nothing is inevitable and nothing is eternal.
Of course. Yeah.
Like anything could happen.
Did you see there was a story floating around, I forget who it was, one of those AI companies wanted to buy the Chrome browser from Google because of the antitrust stuff that is coming through?
That has long been proposed. In fact, I think that has been the solution to the Google antitrusts. problem if the feds ever put the screws to them was that they would have to divest of Chrome.
And so I forget which AI child that did it, but made an offer. Just kind of a sign of the times, right? Of
Sure.
Yeah. Not to say that Google doesn't have its own AI,
Oh, they definitely do.
Yeah.
But like, just think about, you talk about the AOL Time Warner thing. Think about how many companies Warner has been a part of and then demerged from just in the last 25 to 30 years.
They have their own 6 degrees of separation from any company, and it's probably 2 degrees.
It's ridiculous.
They have touched a lot of companies.
They sure have.
And then whenever some company touches them, they're like, yeah, no, after a couple of years.
All right, let's move on from the news here. Brad, you got an email or two?
Sure. Where do people send those emails into?
They send those emails into podcast@nextlander.com, podcast@nextlander.com, podcast@nextlander.com.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Oh, yes?
I'm so fucked.
Oh, great. Well, that's our first email. I hope for the best.
I have this email ready. I meant to look up how to pronounce this first name because it is also the first name of a relatively famous actress.
Okay.
Which you might already be able to guess what first name I'm talking about.
No idea.
Should I put it in Slack?
Give it to me.
Yeah. Let's go for it. Yes.
I believe Ronan is the actress.
Okay.
This is starting to feel like a Jeopardy question.
Oh, I used to know this. God damn it.
Saoirse.
Yes, I'm just calling attention to my own ignorance here.
Saoirse.
Okay.
Saoirse.
Great.
Okay.
I meant to look that up. Okay, this email comes in from Saoirse. This is in response to another email we got recently. I'm not sure if you're getting inundated with emails about this, but I was waiting for Dwarf Fortress to come up on the topic of games being successful under a pay-what-you-want model.
Okay.
For the vast majority of Dwarf Fortress's lifetime, Bay 12 Games offered all their titles free of charge and solicited donations not in-game, but on the website where you downloaded the game. Technically, the game is still available free of charge directly from their website. Of course, they did sign a publishing deal with Kitfox to bring Dwarf Fortress to Steam, which led to an amazing thread started by a user asking, have all those people been playing free Dwarf Fortress for 25 years and just waiting for an opportunity to pay $30? And receiving 340 pages of yes responses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You remember how big Dwarf Fortress was on Steam when it launched.
Yes.
It was like fucking blew up. They made like shitloads of money in short periods of time on that game. And apparently, yes.
Literally playing the long game.
Granted, not a lot of games are out there like updating consistently for 25 straight years.
No.
But they clearly built a dedicated community. But, it's a data point of one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Of
right,
here's a game where people just lined up to pay for it, even when there was a free version for 2 decades.
Was Minecraft beta free? I can't remember. Did you pay? I
don't remember. I didn't play Minecraft until it was huge.
Okay. I had the Java whatever client downloaded a long time ago, but maybe I bought it. Maybe
now beta was definitely paid. If you mean, did they charge money while it was in beta? Yes, absolutely.
They did.
But,
okay.
But did they charge from day one of beta? That I can't say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
But absolutely, they were taking money for it.
Oh, right. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, because obviously it was like 1.0 not that long ago.
Yeah, or it was several, sometime a couple years after beta started or something like that. But it may have been free at the very, very beginning. I'm not actually sure.
But yeah, Dwarf Fortress. Just who's the next Dwarf Fortress out there?
Caves of Cud seemed like it was maybe in that wheelhouse, kind of. Also, I think that game's like 17 years old or something.
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
And it was free?
So, hey, just make one game for like 2 or 3 decades and you'll probably be fine.
And float yourself.
I don't remember if that was always free.
I don't know.
But I think it was always very cheap. I do know that.
Yeah, I just know it's been around for a long time. All right. Another email?
Yeah.
JR in Longmont, Colorado.
Okay.
Still talking about DARE here a bit. Mm-hmm. My grade school in the eastern suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio didn't have DARE, but we had GREAT.
Oh, I read this one, yeah.
You guys ever heard of GREAT?
No.
Gang Resistance Education and Training.
Okay.
I can't say I remember much about the program except for them explaining getting jumped into and out of gangs. I did not join a gang, so maybe it worked.
There you go. It's another, again, sample size of 1.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Great. Gang resistance, education, and training.
Do they have an animal mascot?
Oh. I don't
By chance,
know.
What animal would you want to teach kids not to join gangs?
The lone wolf.
Would you say a wolf?
The lone wolf.
Lone wolf. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Hey kids, I could do it by myself, so can you.
Mm-hmm. I don't need nobody. You don't need
polar
nobody.
Bears roam in packs? Are they solitary hunters? I feel like a polar bear.
I think most bears are solitary. I don't know.
Solitary?
Generally.
Yeah. Polar bear.
Okay.
Yeah. Polar bear doing cocaine.
Actually,
that's a different program. They didn't go to Dare.
Mm-hmm. All right. Alan from Philadelphia. I should probably just read this one too, since it's in the same vein, kind of. To continue the ongoing saga of McGruff on the podcast, the most recent campaign has been teaching kids about avoiding counterfeit pills.
Oh.
Like many things designed to help people in the U.S., the funding has recently been cut.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
So McGruff's anti-fentanyl campaign, maybe not long for this world.
Just reinforcing our bit where McGruff is an out-of-work dog in a trench coat working for whomever will take them, give him a job.
He's working at the DMV now.
Oh, McGruff.
I hesitate to even say this or even speak these words into this podcast. Did you see this thing the other day that PragerU apparently is being eyed as a replacement for PBS?
Fuck you. I don't even want to do this anymore. Stop. That's the lie.
Just trying to see how Verhoeven-esque we can get.
Are you making that up?
No.
Did somebody actually say that on the record, like an official?
That was a headline going around.
But like,
does it really beggar belief at this point, Vinny?
No, but if there's, I don't know how much more I can take is the thing.
Oh, I'm well past my capacity. Like, I'm purely spilling out here, man.
Do you have access to our Slack right now? Do you want to just look at the headline I just put in there?
I have to bring it up on my phone.
Okay.
I'll look at it later. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for the podcast.
We can't do, there's nothing else to say now.
Nope. What's left?
We're going to wrap this one up. What's left is some fantastic content that we have been making, and we do it with your support. Stuff like the Watchcast, where we continue our Star Trek tripping down season 2 of the original series. We are nearing the end. Only a handful of episodes left. Alex,
6 episodes, 3 podcasts. That's all that's coming up.
What's on the plate for this week on the Patreon for the folks?
Well, right now, you can check out the episode that is dedicated to the episodes A Private Little War and Return to Tomorrow. One of those episodes is very good. The other one, less so.
Could use a little work.
Could use a little work. And next week's episodes are Patterns of Force and By Any Other Name, and I have watched those, and I will tell you right now, again, one of those episodes is quite good. The other one isn't bad.
Okay, great.
Right, that's not, I'll take that.
We also on Monday we got into more Abiotic Factor, which I'm really enjoying. I'm having a lot of fun in that game with Will. And then Tuesday at Grubb's recommendation, Jeff Grubb's recommendation, we played I'm in Love with Your Grandmother.
I'm in Love with Your Dead Grandmother.
Which just check it out.
You should before you watch that video.
Yeah.
You should ask yourself, have a real solid conversation with yourself about how much French-Canadian comedy you can stomach.
And if the answer is, well, a whole lot, then,
do we ever have a video game for you?
We've got the video game for you. So you can check that out, of course, over on the Patreon, stuff like the Ramblecast, the video Ramblecast, the Planorama.
And Grubb has been streaming Jurassic Park Trespasser as we've been recording this, or they were streaming that when I fired this up. And man,
is that the boobs one?
Yes.
Okay.
I already saw a clip of Grubb discovering the boobs in real time. I don't know how he didn't know about that. That's like the only thing anybody knows about that game.
I don't think I know that about that game.
Your health bars on your boobs.
Trespasser, I think it actually, I never played it back in the day. Sorry, now I'm just derailing and extending this podcast, but apparently it's way ahead of its time. It's a late 90s first-person PC action game that tried to make physics and physically manipulating things in the environment like a core part of its gameplay.
It was also a minimalist HUD game generally, right?
Yeah, also that. But like, let's say before maybe like design and technology were quite up to maybe pulling off that task, but they definitely had ideas. But yes, you are playing a first-person female protagonist, and when you look down, you can see your bust very clearly. And the health meter in that game is a tattoo of a heart.
Oh. I think I did see somebody play this
on your cleavage.
Okay.
And the tattoo like changes based on how much health you have.
I'm pretty sure we booted that game up at Giant Bomb at least once somewhere along the way.
Okay. Well, look, that is not going to be on patreon.com/Nextlander, at least not anytime. Never say never,
but not right now.
Never say never. But there's plenty of other stuff there you can go check out. And that is all at patreon.com/Nextlander, where you can find a tier that is right for you. There is one tier there, the Mysterious Benefactors tier. I guess their name's read on this here show. And I'm going to read those names to you right now. Starting with Jerry Lee, Sean Miller, Sending Good Vibes on the Internet, RRE, Alpha Rhythm, Infelicitous Rips, David L., Kelly F., Brian Lucier, Skywarp, Jason Grimm, John Hubbard, NXL Retirement Fund, Evan Cook, Mark Wilhelm, Jerry Lee, Deirdre ate too much pasta, Gary Pejke, Robert Fisher, Bunny Fiend, Jad Rita, Statics, Brian Murphy, Randy Duax, Randy Alderson, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It's Me JP, Edward Chick, Andrew Slosky, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese. Those are our mysterious benefactors for this week. Thanks to everyone who supported us. Thanks to our mysterious benefactors. Thanks to anyone watching our videos, hanging out over in our Discord, making this little slice of the internet heaven.
That's right.
As heavenly as we can make it.
We will not cancel dial-up service as long as you keep us going.
That's right. What's that phone number again, Brad? Just right. What is it? Come on. For the folks at home. Just
1-800.
No, we changed it to a 900 number. We
1-900.
Yeah, 1-900.
Did they have one?
No, what was the hotspot number? Do you remember that?
No, I don't know. God, no.
Oh, okay.
Did you spell something? I thought you were asking for the AOL phone number.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Nobody knows. I mean, if you know that, then, man, imagine you had that thing by heart. I used the computer to dial that thing. I never had to dial that by hand. No. 555-555-555-555 NXL 0. That's going to do it for the show. I think I said everything. Abiotic Factor, your grandmother's dead. And then Friday will be, Thursday. Heads up if you're listening to this. Thursday we'll be streaming. So come check us out on Thursday. Friday we are going to be doing some other recordings off camera. So it's secret for us. It's the Watchcast. So we'll be doing
just
that.
had to shuffle some things. That's really all it is.
That's really all it is. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
And we'll be back next week.